up, everyone? Hello. Welcome to the VuCast, the visual podcast. That's all about the individual who is hard of hearing and or who is deaf in the conversation. I am Alexandra Cartier. Cartier. You have to forgive me. I'm a little rusty. My first language is English. ASL is my second language. So, yeah, voice and sign at the same time can be challenging. So, please forgive me and bear with me. Really excited about to share some amazing tips to help bridge the gap, like who can hear, who cannot hear, and to get awesome tips to build accessibility in your workplace. Also, we're going to talk about living with COVID, and like the reality of it, the communication barrier, the math, what's up with that, how you explain work, accessibility issue, and we have an awesome guest speaker named Gloria Matthews. And I'm going to introduce her. She's going to introduce herself and talk just about a few things. So, welcome. Hi.
Hey. Hi, everyone. My name is Gloria Matthews. Most of you may be familiar with me when I used to work at Deaf Access Services. And so I'm with the VU now as the Community Outreach Director. So a little bit about my background. I have been hard of hearing for over 30 years. So I've had my hearing loss since childhood all the way up through college and into my professional life. I'm also a Hearstrong champion, and I'm also the treasurer for Walk for Hearing in Buffalo, and I'm also considered a walk leader. I'm also a member of Hearing Loss Association of America. And to top it off, I'm also host of the virtual hard of hearing peer support group, which I host on Google Meet once a month. So I have 2 different time slots, one daytime, one evening.
Wow, your background is amazing. So many organizations, you're coordinating with every different organization. That's amazing. So tell me, how are you handling COVID-19? I mean,
It's been very interesting, to be honest. It's been a challenge for sure. Just going out, having to wear a mask. But I think the challenge comes in when it comes to doing medical appointments in person, where you see everyone wearing a mask for their own protection. But for those of us with hearing loss or who have a deafness, we rely on facial expressions and lip reading heavily.
Facial expressions, relying on lip reading, right, understand, yeah. Wearing a mask, like when you go into like the doctor's office or communication with people with hearing and they have the mask cover, what do you do? What do you say?
Well, one of the things I make them know is that if it's the same person that I normally interact with, they would kindly pull their mask down because they know I'm hard of hearing. But if it's someone that I don't normally see at the front desk and they start to realize I'm not getting it, they will either grab the notepad and hold it up with what they're asking me, and then I give them a verbal response. Or I tell them, I part of self-advocating for myself, I'm hard of hearing, so can you write that down on a pad for me, please? So that I find to help facilitate a successful communication method.
So advocate, self advocate. What you do is based on like how.
But when you self-advocate, that means having to step out of your comfort zone to ask for the accommodation to understand what's being said for you. So, like I said previously, if I'm interacting with someone I don't normally interact with in the doctor's office, and they don't interact with me, and they start noticing I'm saying hi a lot, and I go, oh, wait a minute. I'm hard of hearing, so I don't want you to keep trying so hard to repeat what you're saying. So can you please write down what you're saying and hold it up so that I can give you the response you need? And then they learn new things, but in the process, it's not just self-advocating, but you're also advocating by teaching others how to effectively communicate in other roles.
Is that related to accessibility? Is that the same thing that you do with accessibility? You educate with that and being the self-advocate?
Well, with being a self-advocate, it means including the education aspect in what you're asking for. So not only are you asking for an accommodation, but you're also teaching the person in front of you that accommodation is another means to communicate effectively. And sometimes you kind of have to take it a little bit further by saying, hey, I'm hard of hearing. If this is going to be a simple process, let me tell you the simplest way to not be as frustrated. So you can use Google Transcribe on your Android phone, or you can find another app with the Apple phone. But there's unfortunately not a free app on Apple products yet.
That's true. I mean, I have to normally use the text to prove it, that kind. So for like the math, so what's your recommendation? What you do?
Well, there are 3 masks. I do know one of the first ones that came out was called the communicator mask. And that was the first ever approved FDA approved mask available. So the communicator mask has a window in the middle that opens up view to the mouth. The rest of it is medically grade covering for the face. So to find out more information about it, you can go to safeandclear.com and you can see what they've been up to. The second option is called the clear mask. And basically that is a mask that goes across the face and it has foam on the other side and sealed in. So this mask hasn't yet been approved, FDA approved yet, but it's also in the pipeline to be FDA approved. Then the third one, which is called the leaf mask, and that is a 100% totally transparent mask. And it takes the shape of just this part of your face instead of the rectangular size. So it's like an oxygen mask shape. So that is also in the pipeline for FDA approval. It does meet all the guidelines for FDA approval. So it is definitely on par with the communicator mask.
I really like that one, the leaf. I'm actually getting one, so they have the which is I'm amazed about that. I'm really looking for, but it's like a month behind, so I have to wait until I get it. So it's still behind. And
Yeah, when COVID hit,
yeah,
all the masks sold out. So the communicator, everything went on back order because they didn't expect that large demand.
the whole volume.
Yeah, so people had to get creative and make masks. So I have one. It's a clear mask, and you just put it over, and you communicate. So people have made them homemade, and because they understood there was a demand for reading lips.
And we all rely on even hearing people. They need rely on facial questions as a communication, and that's what I found out also. But most of us depend on facial questions to figure out the sentence they're saying, if they're saying asking a question or if they're blunt or anything, no matter. Yeah. So can you tell me about you hosting the support group for hard of hearing? Can you explain that?
Yes, I started up the support group over the summer, and I used to host it every Friday even. And sometimes I got one person, two, three. I almost had about 5 people at one time. But I still host it, even if it was one-on-one. I didn't care. It was open for everyone.
Ah,
For the fall and the winter months, because I'm a single mom, so I have to do TA duty, so teaching just with remote. I decided to do a daytime one every second Tuesday, and then an evening one every third Wednesday of the month.
that's awesome, and really, I'm really happy that you're hosting it. It's really needed, especially how we handle things like the communication barrier, what we do at the accessibility for work. I mean, what's your recommendation for work? Now, communication, caption, Zoom, everybody depend on you left out. No.
Yeah. Well, most people with hearing loss experience at the beginning of COVID when everybody had to move remotely. We all learned that Zoom didn't have closed captioning availability, and it required a third person to caption everything. So that was an added cost. Then you had people trying to figure out how to get captioning into these platforms. So my suggestion was to utilize Google Meet as a resource with free captioning. So it's not exactly perfect, but it's there, it's available, and it's for free. So basically, with that is Google Meet, I would 100% recommend. But for Zoom and other platforms, because they require a third party to be utilized, it's something that most leaders, managers, and doctors will have to factor in, that you may potentially have workers that have a hearing loss and don't even realize it. And then they realize they rely on facial expression and lip reading so much that they didn't realize their hearing was bad. So you do have individuals out there who have some degree of hearing loss that may have realized that they've been missing out on quite a lot.
Exactly. It's just question, and talking and communication is vital. I mean, vital. Really.
Yeah. Yes.
Like the communication to a team, when they have live captioning, but then when it disappears, you're stuck, and they won't allow video. So you depend on the audio, but then how do you deal with somebody who's hard of hearing or the hearing loss? It's just an awful thing. They're like, oh my God. And I said, I can't do anything. I have to, how do I get my work done? And that was like one thing that it was like an eye, almost like an eye opening. And just oh, I didn't really think of it. And it's like, yeah, hello. But yeah, thank you so much for the tip, the communication. I just want to say thank you so much for giving us views and tips. It's awesome. I promise everyone that I will give them a free resource to the information. Information, but thank you so much for your time, Gloria. It was wonderful. And just want to promise everyone that there's a free resources for tip sheet. No, tip sheet, and for you to have access to hand out to your workplace. You can research it, and HLAA has an informing toolkit that is amazing, that you can prepare yourself, and you're like Gloria said, self-advocate your own self, and you'll be able to provide everything. So if you have questions, comments that you want to share with us, maybe we can use your tip for our next VuCast. Join us. Don't forget, click like the join our conversation. And see you next time. Thank you. Bye bye. Thank you, Gloria. Bye bye.
Bye.